Legends from the Painted Cave. Joining us here in the studio today is our special guest, Jackie. Hi, Jackie.
Hello.
Glad you could be here with us.
I'm so happy to be here.
Have you been on the radio before?
No, this is my very first time.
Oh, fun.
Yeah?
No need to be nervous. You don't look nervous at all.
I try not to be. It's more excitement.
Yeah, excitement. Very nice. And Louie, our regular, can't say guest, regular in studio, and Ian. Hey, Ian, good morning.
Hey, everyone.
Louie, say hello.
Hello, good morning.
Get to hear your voice.
Yeah.
And we have Jackie, what was your name again? Chris. Hi, Chris. I'm going to turn the speakers down, microphones down a little bit. So we want to be kind of 2, 3, 4 inches from the microphone. So either scoot the chair in or pull that one out, but sometimes the microphone stand will go whoop. So that too. Legends from the Painted Cave. So we start with some announcements. We'll have a drum journey, a 10-15 minute drum journey at the start of the show, about 10 minutes after 9, y'all out there in Radio Land. Welcome. So get your journey blanket and pillow and your little stuffed friend or imaginary friends, and we'll have one then. And at the end of the show as well, we'll have a shorter one, about 10:40-ish. So, do you guys have any questions for Jackie to start out? Ian? Louie? Chris, you have any questions?
He's pretty in the know, so.
Yeah.
Well, what do we need to know
Wow.
about you, Jackie?
I am an energetic and intuitive healer, and I'm here today to just kind of talk about my path and journey and what that means to me, and tell the community about the services I offer, and answer questions.
Lovely.
Sounds pretty cool.
What do you guys know about what I do so far?
Nothing.
Oh.
We'll be the guests that know nothing, so share everything.
Wonderful. I'm so excited to hear that. So, right now, what I do is kind of connect with people to read the energy that's in their auric field. So we all know that we have an energetic field. NASA can prove this, science can prove it. It's 8 to 10 feet out from our bodies, right? And within that auric field, we have our own energy, and we also have the energy we collect from everything we do in life, from going to the grocery store to, what we read, what we watch, what we eat. Everything that we do impacts our field. So over time, we can get collected full of things that don't really serve us, things that aren't ours. And if our field is full of all of that, it kind of impacts the way we see things. It can affect our clarity. It can affect how we walk in our everyday life. So the services I offer are kind of just to clear that out, make room for the energy that serves you best, which is your higher self energy. So if we remove energy that is ours, we can embody our higher self and walk more in alignment with our soul's true path.
Is our higher self ourselves, or is that something separate?
I think our higher self is ourself, but we can only embody so much in our auric field, right? We can only hold so much of energy. So if we're carrying around energy that doesn't serve us, it kind of prevents us from having more of our higher self. So it's kind of like just flushing it out and allowing yourself to come in more and more each time.
There's some song lyrics I love that say everything we touch, we change, and everything we touch changes us as well. And so it is the taking on of the energies around us, but we're trying to figure out what serves us best. Is that correct?
Yeah, and just like letting go of things that aren't ours. Sometimes, when I'm describing the auric field to people, I have everyone imagine that they are in a fishbowl that has no boundaries, and assign a color, right? So my fishbowl is purple, yours is blue, yours is red, and we go to the store, and we may not even speak, but our fishbowls pass through each other. And so we pick up some color from each other. So then by the time we leave the store, we're no longer the color we were when we walked in, right? Because we picked up all these things. And it's not good or bad, it just is. And so when we consciously try to shift that energy out, we're moving the things that just weren't for us. It's not, again, good or bad. They just aren't for us. And so we flush that out, making room for the true us when we connect with Source and we really embody ourselves.
And you said there's no good or bad there with the taking it on, or
Yeah.
but is there a do we need to protect ourselves?
Oh, absolutely. So when I
Yeah.
say there's no good or bad, I just mean that, it's not a fault of anyone's that these colors intermingle, or, it's just what is, right? We're all energy, we're all moving about. So it's not that anyone's doing anything wrong, but learning to protect your auric field and shield it does keep you from picking up as much. It's like energetic hygiene, right? Like, it's just every day you practice these steps and flush it out and protect yourself again. And so then as you go throughout life, you're every day embodying more of your higher self, living more in alignment with who you're supposed to be. And when I say supposed to be, I just mean your true soul essence, right? Not all the other things in our world that can influence us, but our higher selves.
Process of finding ourselves, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a process, it's layers, like an onion, they say. And that's the truth. And the more practice you do, the more layers you lift, the more embodied you become, the more in alignment you walk, the smoother and easier things get.
You said practices of how to protect our aura.
Yeah.
What are some of those practices?
For me, it's a multiple step process for me, and I'll just go with my experience, but what I really try to do is connect with Gaia, right? And you allow Gaia to support you, and Gaia is meant to support all of us. And so as we...
And Gaia is...
Mother Earth, the spirit of the planet, Earth itself.
Mama.
Yeah. And so when we rest on that, we allow her to support us. I imagine her just suctioning out everything that's not mine, right? Like,
so this is a imagination
you could
process
do
practice?
it in yeah, absolutely. In meditation or imagination or visualization, just your intent. You don't have to be in a meditative space to do this. You can be walking down the street and just imagine and wish or hope for it, right? And then what she does, I think of it as like a dust buster at the bottom of your aura, just suctioning out. She's just like, okay, honey, let me get all this dust off. And then as she does that, she also gives you earth energy. So if you are in a meditative space or sitting on the ground and you just take in through your earth star and just really absorb the energy she's offering. And I imagine it flushing through my whole chakra system. So if you look at some auric field pictures, you'll see the tortle field and how it works. And so if you watch that energy go up and around from Earth, right, it creates this...
electromagnetic field is what I'm thinking.
Yes, so she's flushing your field and you're connecting with her. And then my next step is to connect with Source. And so to open that upper chakra and imagine, dream, wish, intend to connect with Divine Source coming through the sun, and coming down and flushing my field that way, right? So now you have two...
Oh, you have the loop,
You
the
have a
two
loop.
looping. Aha.
Yes.
A little balance.
Yeah, so then once you loop and you have this whole flushing happening, all that energy's gone. And that's where a lot of people may say, oh, I feel great, and stop. And this is where I challenge everyone to go, let's take it a next step. And let's imagine that this field just becomes a beacon for your energy, right? So they say your energy is where your thoughts are. So if you're thinking about what you did in the past or what you're doing next week, or you're going to your class reunion, or you're attending a wedding, or whatever you're thinking about, that's where your energy is. So if you daily practice just magnetizing it back and filling up your field with your own energy, allows you to be more present in the moment, right? And then
Well, that makes sense.
yeah.
It's very reasonable. Not go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. And so when you call that energy back, you want to protect it. So the fourth step is to imagine a field of energy. Some people do a disco ball. Some people do inside a waterfall, or I just imagine an orb wrapping around me of crystalline light, and that holds me in a higher frequency throughout my day, right? So I may still pick up something at the grocery, but it may not be as much as it would have been had I not activated that orb of protection around myself. And I would love to take credit for all of this, but I cannot.
Right.
And this was learned, and it has really shifted everything for me.
Oh, so you're not the creator of this
Practice.
step-by-step.
No, I'm not. I was taught this step-by-step process through a program I entered. It was called Soul Success Unleashed. And it just really changed my life because it taught me how to be present in my own energy.
Sounds like you're talking a lot about imagination and visualization.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Our-
hear-
Our superpower is what I call that, our imagination. We're going to move to a sound bath. So hold that question.
Yeah,
There's plenty.
I know. I got a bunch. They're building.
Well, I like the introduction.
Uh,
I like the introduction so far.
so far, so good. Okay, well, so as promised, we're going to move into at 9/11 a sound bath. Y'all, so push away from your computer desk or set your tools down, you guys, and let's do this. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, and best of all, no one to be. We're just here, resting, relaxing, accepting, receiving. There's no wrong way to do this meditation. You may have imagery, like a dream, come on up, or you may see colors or images, or maybe just the blank screen, maybe just darkness. There's no wrong way to do this, so we're just gonna start some breathing now. Long breath in and a long breath out. So let's do this for a minute. You can also use your imagination, but do that gently. We're moving out of the mind space and into the imagination space, our dream mind, through relaxation. Say to yourself, are you my spirit, my animal guide? Do you have a gift for me? Say that frequently. I'll remind you as the journey moves through. Distractions from your mind or your environment, return continually to the drumbeat or your breath. long, deep breaths. Gently. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome back. Legends from the Painted Cave. That was our shamanic drum journey, sound bath. That's perfect. WCOM FMLP, Carborough, Chapel Hill, radio station. Visualization, imagination, yeah, our superpower. We can accomplish so much. Well, meditation, really helps us too. I'm really interested this morning. Ian and I were talking about higher self, and higher self, by definition, there must be a lower self. Why would you say higher self? So this higher self, I think you referred to higher self as source, maybe?
Definitely part of higher self, yes. For me, I guess higher self is like our whole soul's essence. And if we were our whole soul's essence, we wouldn't be on the planet, right? So there's a physical part of our existence. And, you know, the ego mind and the reality of our world and everything that we live in, I think that is the human journey, right? Is to be able to understand your earthly ego self and embody more of your soul self, right?
So that would be maybe our lower self and higher self?
It could be, yeah. I don't think of
generally.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
don't think of lower or higher as a better or worse. You know, it's just the duality of our existence. You know, we are earthly creatures, and that's why, you know, we were gifted to be here to experience all of the earthly emotions and relationships.
Oh, you
and-
call that a gift?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it's just being able to tap in a little bit more to that soul self than the worldly ego self, I guess.
This is a question I went around with for a long time. Is there a difference that we can feel or think about between soul and spirit, or are they the same? Because they're definitely referenced as two different things depending on the books we read or the people we listen to.
That's
Very
true.
broad terms that have a lot of overlap.
Yeah. And you know, for me, I always just go with like what resonates with me. And I've taken in information from everywhere, you know, and you're right, there are differences for a lot of people. I have to say, for my personal belief system, I think it's one and the same. You know, I can't identify a difference, and maybe I need more education, but my soul says it's my spirit. I feel as if that's just a different way of calling the same thing, you know, kind of like we have different names for the universe or God or source or creator, you know, spirit, soul. It's all just, to me, that's how I feel about it.
Have you ever read The Alchemist?
I have not read The Alchemist.
The overarching theme of that, which is pretty primordial thing, is remember, it's all one thing. It's all one thing.
Yeah.
Because we do that, right? We're like, I need to understand. I'm going to put this sort of understanding or thought over here and this one over here. We categorize, and just so we can reason and use our intellect.
Yeah, that's our
So
human self.
That's our human self.
Yeah.
But then there's a whole other operating system going on as well, our intuition.
Yeah.
is kind of the word I go to for just our inner understanding, our inner truth that just like happens to us. No reason, no understanding, just happens. And
Right.
through these meditation practices, like shamanic journeying, and it's a meditation, and through meditation, there's various ways of meditating, of course, but any way to quiet the mind, quiet our reasoning and intellect, and allow this intuition or source or higher self to speak, which is quiet, because survival is a very real thing to do, but moving into quiet, we can tune into this other information system, which is full of wonder and awe and gratitude and thanks. And with that mindset, life becomes the experience of being alive instead of just living.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one practice.
Mhm.
Do you have a drum or bowls or some apparatus that?
Actually, it's so funny. I love the sound bowls, and that's something that I love to experience, and I love the drums. But I recently decided I had an affinity for the Indian flute, wooden flute. So I asked.
Very mystical, magical.
I love the
Yeah.
sound.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I felt like it was just like in heaven. I was like, what is this music? I must have it. And so I told my husband about it. So for Mother's Day, he got me one, and I love it. Yesterday I just went out, etude of playing. I'm not a trained instrument professional, but I just love it. And I feel like it's so intuitive. You can just play what you want, and it kind of opens up that throat chakra, and it's just like a self-expression. So
A release.
yeah,
Will you be joining us at Alchemy on Thursday?
yeah, I'll be
Oh
there.
yeah, you said so. Bring your flute.
I'm going to.
Awesome.
Yes, so I'm super excited to be a part of Alchemy and everything they do there, but the drum circle that you're going to be a part of is very exciting for us, so we will be there.
Yeah, she's got a smaller room. I guess it's a little bigger than this right
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
We might have a pretty big crowd. We might have 10, 11, 12 people.
Oh, we've fit more than that in there. We've had,
you have?
we've
Okay,
had
'cause
groups
we'll
of
need
20 in
room
there.
To,
Maneuver
we have to
around.
walk around to each person, so we need room between mats. But we could go outside. We could go to the park. We can
I
go to a
mean,
grass area. We
I
don't
am
have to
all,
be
we'll
inside,
figure it
right?
out. I mean, if we
Yeah.
have to line the sidewalk with people, we'll just do it.
Publicity stunt. What's that? Yeah. Oh, awesome! I can't wait for, because that's one of my favorites. There's the drone
Mhm.
flute, which is two flutes together,
Oh, I've seen those.
and there's three. I've seen two as well.
Yeah.
So there's one. Yeah. Anyway.
I'm an amateur. I
Super
have
magical.
one. Yeah, I haven't done the two yet. I need more practice.
I listen to those, and it's just my cares and worries just are gone.
It's magical.
Yeah. Right.
It
Drops
really
me
is.
Right in. Louis, what? Hi. Good morning. So, do you have a definition or feeling about a higher self, and
Yeah.
how does that?
Yeah, I have a question about that actually. So we were talking about this making me think of yoga
Mhm.
and kind of like the ideas they have about higher self. And I'm wondering if you see a difference between, or I guess I'll explain a little how I see the difference between source and higher self. Is that I guess source would be kind of something that's at like the top and has like no qualities to it really. Or you say it has some qualities but no like personality, whereas the higher self is like a little bit lower and has personality to it. Yeah.
So I see that. I can see what you're saying there. So what I would think is the way I look at it, source is like the creator of all that is, right? Like all the vast expanse of the universe, the creator of all that is. And I personally believe that we're all just divine expressions of source. So I think Source is like, hey, I want to hang out on the planet as each and every one of these people and have the experience of them. And that's why it's so important for us to be our true selves, because that's why we were put here. So when we have these desires in our heart and these things that make us excited and passionate, I believe that's what Source wants us to do, because that is there. So to me, it's like Source is the overarching umbrella, right? And then there's like all these little tentacles that go down to the highest soul, and then the soul is expressed maybe many ways on the planet, right? So, you know, you could go down the theory that higher self is like the oversoul, and then there's multiple expressions of that on Earth at the same time, or different timelines. Now we're getting real esoteric here, but just a little breakdown of how it may look if you're trying to make logical sense in your mind. And so that divine spark in us is us embodying Source, right? So when we're doing the things that make us the truest, happiest expression, I believe that's our highest essence, right? That's
Yeah,
what
getting closer to Source.
the divine Source wanted for us.
I like demigod.
Yeah.
Demigods. Part divine. Well, we're all divine source,
Yeah.
but it's like there's two parts, sort of like you mentioned earlier.
It's like the hand.
Duality.
Like the Source is the body, and we're just like a finger.
We're demigods.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on Source's body, we're all little fingers.
I sometimes imagine that higher self as a witnesser of. So the lower self is more of that ego within the body and the frenzy of life, without a conscious thought. And that higher self is the ability to view yourself from a far out perspective, to pause the moment and really follow the best path for yourself and do the best for yourself. Yeah, the bird's eye view,
Yeah.
the witnessing, and not just strictly reacting, to actually think and reason, so you can be who you want to be,
Absolutely. And you know, part of
or
the
who you're
healing-
supposed to be.
Yeah. And part of what that's kind of like the work that I do with people is to help them move out energy so that they can get to that higher level perspective and move out those things that don't matter as much, and they can view themselves from a place of compassion, love, and divine thinking, you know, and feeling. So I 100% agree with what
Do you
you're
listen
saying.
to Abraham Hicks?
I have, but not
Yeah.
always, but yes.
Religiously.
Yes, not religiously.
The law of attraction.
Yes. And it's true, you know, what you are putting out, you know, what really helped me learn and integrate that thought process is that when we come to the God, source, universe with, oh, I hope I get some money, right? I really need some money. We're coming from a place of scarcity, right?
Mhm.
And the universe doesn't really know what that is. They're just like, oh, this person is putting this out. So guess what you attract? Scarcity. But if you go out into the world and you're like, I am so abundant and I'm so thankful for the abundance
So
I
blessed.
have. I'm so blessed. And I think about, you know, my chickens and how they make me happy and the flowers in my yard and all of these things. Then all of a sudden, when you keep thinking of these things, you're just abundant. And then you're like, what am I asking for? I'm already abundant.
Mhm.
And then it just keeps coming, right? So it's a thought process.
Gratitude is crucial for me. It's like my base go-to all the time. When I start wanting or thinking I'm needing or missing out on something, I just go, just look at all this beauty around me. Oh my gosh, thank you. And then, you know,
Mhm.
that goes away. All that grasping and attaching and wanting. I mean, we have a body. We have needs,
Yes,
for sure.
yes. I need this coffee.
Thank you. Louis, any more thoughts on that?
I don't know. I don't want to interrupt the flow.
I imagine it is a worship the world, and it'll worship you back.
Yeah.
Yeah. give it thanks and it'll thank you.
And if we find ourselves in pain, be grateful for that too. Try that one.
Well, that's
That's
all
growth.
about accepting shadows. The duality of things. I'm actually doing a workshop in November at Alchemy on shadow work, and it's a 2-part workshop.
Oh,
It's-
you're doing it. I saw that briefly.
Yes,
Okay.
and it's going to be pretty intense. So it'll
Oh,
be
good.
4 hours total, but
Oh, dang.
2 hours one week and then 2 hours the week after,
Okay.
with homework in between. Like, this isn't for
Cool.
people who are afraid. You have to have courage to join this shadow workshop, because it's just about digging into those parts of ourselves that we've been taught aren't good. And, if we can embrace the duality of pain and maybe things that aren't so great about us, it really gives us freedom. And, shadow work, when I started my spiritual awakening,
Oh, man.
I'm like, what is shadow work?
Oh, man.
Because you
Raising
look
the
online.
hairs on my body.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, it's this bad thing. And I'm like, ooh, I don't want to do that, right? And then I got into it and I'm like, wait a minute. This is just about self-acceptance and compassion. And when you take these pieces of yourself that are supposed to be hidden and you look at them and you love them, you give yourself freedom. And so it's going to be so fun. I'm
Yeah,
so
because
excited.
they're running, all these traumatic experiences are running in the background of our subconscious mind.
Always.
And they often dictate our behavior
Mm-hmm.
and our actions and our habits. And if that's a lot of where not self-love comes from, is not acceptance of how we've been treated in the past.
Absolutely.
And so that's shadow work, right? Is going
Yeah.
back into our memories, going back into trance, and opening up these wounds, so to speak, and loving on them and allowing them to speak and becoming neutral as the observer, or being active too, active in their transmutation, their changing, their expression, allowing expression, conversation. Shadow work, yeah. I've had quite a lot of just transformative trauma memories in my body and mind moved out and just changed. I mean, the people are still there. The evidence of the situation is still there, but that hurt and that pain and that embarrassment is gone. Well, slowly but surely. So I'm not saying just lifts, all of a sudden we take a little look at things that have happened and they're just gone. No, it takes some of the deeper ones take some time to
Mhm.
sit with and re-experience over and over, with guidance.
Mhm.
And we can, post-traumatic stress, right, for one thing. We all have that.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? It's very counterintuitive, why, right? Why would I go back in and revisit that trauma? I already did that once. That just doesn't make any sense. That's like dumb. It's like, well, with the right attitude and right perspective and some teaching and guidance, ignoring and ignorance is no way to move forward into a higher or better or a more honest perspective of who we are, why we're here, what we're doing, where we're going, our inner truth of self-service and then serving others from inside out. So we need to clean up the inside traumas, and then our energy will grow and will go out here into the world and affect our environment, right? Because all mass has an energetic field, and the more we are clean and clear of trauma, the more we can broadcast and our bandwidth increases,
Yeah.
and we can actually walk into a room and feel a shift.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's the craziest thing if you've ever experienced that, I mean,
Yeah.
which we have,
Yeah.
because that's kind of a focus of our lifestyle.
Yeah.
So shadow work is really, really cool for cleaning up our energetic field and just helping us feel better
Yeah.
about ourselves. And then, of course, we feel better about being here, which is very strange because why wouldn't we in the first place? It's a human experience. It's traumatic. It's complicated, difficult. We have intellect and we have spirit.
I know.
And it's like two operating systems in one computer or in one thing. It's like back and forth, back and forth. But through meditation, many meditation practices, we can, and shadow work is one.
Yeah.
We can move into a cleaner, clear perspective of our purpose and meaning or experience of life here. I will be there. Because
I'm
we're
so
never
excited.
done, right? We're never finished.
Never.
Never.
It's just
Well,
ongoing.
Abraham says, we'll never get this right, and we'll never get this done.
No.
It's just ever evolving.
Well, and I'm glad for that
Or
because I get
devolving.
bored easy. So I like having to know that there's always going to be growth to be had is exciting for me.
Yeah, I want to be over my suffering, but
Well,
not long ago it was like, no.
Then you'd be done growing.
Yeah, it's like that's what makes
Growing doesn't have to
a human.
be suffering though. You can grow without suffering.
yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Depends on what
Who
you
told
need.
you that?
I don't know, somebody. Higher self.
Life is suffering. There's a cause of suffering. There's a way out of suffering, and that's basically by right thinking and right action. That's a Buddha.
You-
And acceptance.
Acceptance all the way.
I think acceptance is so important that once you get to a place where you accept that you
Not rejection.
have no control, yet all the control, and that makes sense to you, you're on the right path.
Wait, say that again. I missed that.
Once you realize that you have no control, but then you know that you have all the control, and that makes sense to you because it sounds
when
insane.
that makes sense.
Yeah, when that makes sense to you.
It probably doesn't make sense right now,
No.
but
it
You,
can.
you
It
need
can.
you need a little bit of control to understand that you don't need any control.
Yeah.
Or the
Without control, you can't let go of control.
let go. Yeah.
Duality.
or the control of how we allow it to affect us or how we react to it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of that acceptance is realizing it had to happen for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It brings me back to that old ancient phrase, I know nothing.
The more I know I know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's
More accurately,
Yeah, that's exactly,
I don't know, yes.
just go with it. That's what I do. I take the next best step every time, and I just listen to that inner guidance, and I just know I'm going to be led on to the path I need to walk on. But I
Where
have
else?
to, yeah, but I have to surrender too,
If
And
this wasn't happening, something else would be happening.
Yeah.
So this must be the right happening.
it is. It's exactly what it's supposed to be.
My motto.
Is it? I love that.
That's my motto. You'll hear me say that often.
Oh, good.
I say that. So at festivals, a lot of new people, a lot of returning people. So I go through a litany every now and then of, sharing my beliefs and stuff, what I've kind of learned, condensed naturally. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, no one to be. That's another mantra, chant.
I love that. It's fun.
I learned that from a yoga teacher. When she said that in the beginning of the session, I was like, sometimes you just get hit
Mhm.
physically.
Yeah, when I heard that the first time, I thought it was very powerful.
What? No one to be?
Yeah.
Oh, you're scaring me now. Well,
Nothing
what
to
about
do.
my identity?
What do I do if there's nothing to do?
Yeah. I mean, that's a scary thing for a lot of people, right?
Yeah,
Gotta
it's
keep busy.
been
Or
scary
that
for
mind
me.
will take over.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can train it not to.
Yeah, it's the training, for sure.
Actually, I had something that came up when you were talking about shadow work. I was thinking talking about the higher self and lower self. Do you think it's would it be correct to kind of put like higher self as like a soul, spirit sort of thing, and lower self as the shadow? Is there a difference?
I think there's a little bit of a difference. I understand what you're saying. I think the shadows are. It's not really like your higher self doesn't have shadows, or I almost feel like they're two separate things here, because a shadow is something that we embody in our ego self, right? So let's say that you got angry at your little brother because he stole your toy, and you were frustrated and you lashed out at him, right? And then after that emotional experience, you're like, I don't know why I get frustrated. And so then you start to punish yourself for having frustration, right? And you're like, why did I get frustrated? That's so wrong. And so somewhere in your body, you're storing this information that frustration is wrong, right? What we need to see here is that frustration was something to signal you to change something, right? That was a signal. What do you need to change there? So maybe what we change there is I shouldn't be so greedy with my brother. If my brother wants to play with my toy, he's younger than me, I should have compassion for him, right? So it was a signal to change yourself. It wasn't that you're just a frustrated, nasty person. And so what happens is people often take those moments and then embody them, right? And they store frustration. And then next thing you know, they're a frustrated person. They're on the road honking the horn, flipping people
Anger.
off.
Is anger in frustration?
It can be.
Or is that yeah.
You know, but why are you angry? Now, maybe it's because your brother never respects your space. There's no boundaries, right? So he's always taking your things and you never say anything, and this time you just said it, right? And so now you're beating yourself up for the reaction to not having boundaries, right? So that's the part about digging into shadow work. Why did I get frustrated with him? Was it because I always don't have boundaries and I let him think this was okay and then one day it just wasn't anymore? Or is this because I need to adjust myself and be more compassionate towards this person? So it's just a twist on the way you look at things, you know?
Yeah.
If when we take out that good or bad, right? That this was right or wrong, and we just look at it for what it is, from that neutral perspective.
Yeah, it's more like it's like the shadow work is kind of like turning the shadow into the lower self, or like purifying the shadow and making it a part of yourself rather than a separate thing.
Yes, so perfect. So you want to embrace it, right? So part of shadow work is embracing this part of yourself. And once you do that, you actually can turn every shadow into a gift. So we're using human design and gene codes in my workshop. And part of that in gene codes is the philosophy is that you can always, every shadow has an enlightened side, right? So we'll be going over that in more detail, like which shadow it is, how it can be enlightened for you, and what it looks like when you're using it in alignment with yourself, and how to be in alignment.
Shadows.
So the shadow work is just finding the lessons in all of the occurrences.
Yep, instead of holding on to them and letting them become who you are, right? We all have negative experiences. We all have negative, quote unquote, negative emotions. We're creatures. We're supposed to, but how we process it impacts how we live. So if we process it as a learning experience and adjust, shame, for example. I work a lot with ancestral things, and shame is one of the worst. Shame is meant to redirect. It's a signal, hey, I probably shouldn't be doing that. But what happens is some people get so bogged down from it and they just become shame. And that's where you find addicts, you know, people wallowing in shame.
And that shame is more of that energy field and baggage we carry with us.
Yep.
We only have so much. Be wise what you carry.
And it could be ancestral. You know, we carry things from our ancestors.
That's not our current experience in this life. It's, could say DNA. Comes through our DNA or epigenetic or whatever.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's a lot. Not even just our own.
No, man, it goes way back, way back. You're not doomed though, because once you dig it up and you move past it and you do the energy work around it, it clears generations, right? It clears that energy from your
going
spiritual
forward,
DNA.
maybe too.
Huh?
Maybe going forward as well. If
Yeah.
we have children,
they won't have
they
it.
they won't have that. So like some people refer that as chain breaking, ancestral chain
That's what I am.
severing or whatever.
I'm a chain breaker.
Yeah, we know a lot. We have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
What, Louis?
Oh, I was thinking we're all working together on the ancestral stuff.
Say
We're all
that
the same
again?
ancestors.
Say that again.
We're all the same ancestors. We're all working together.
Mm-hmm.
We're not like we each have our own self, but we share our ancestors. We can all
Mm-hmm.
share the healing.
It's true. And that's how we change the world, is by healing ourselves.
Okay, I'll send my people. They can talk with your people. And we'll
Yeah.
get it figured out.
We're just gonna have to talk for like 20 hours, and we still have stuff to discuss.
You guys, all you ancestors, you figure out my life. Okay, you take it, and I'm just gonna be free of the whole thing. Well,
I wish it were that easy.
I wish it that easy. No, we are definitely participants in,
Yeah.
in shifting.
That's why we're here.
Humans.
Yeah, to heal, and and it's shocking to me how it can happen in lifetime. Like it really can.
In a lifetime.
In lifetime, like in
Oh,
our
a lifetime.
Yeah, like it
Yeah,
can
that's
shift.
and then we go, whoa, what was that? Oh, wow,
Yeah.
what a shift. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could just happen. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
it may take a little while. You never know. It's what's good, what's in highest good for you.
Well, it happens like that sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, if we're kind of intent on shifting our reality in healing, we will run into these moments of working and we'll feel like a weight just comes off us. Yeah, they're magic moments.
I mean, the effect of the healing is really to rely on how much that person's ready to have, right? So
Sure.
yeah, and
Yeah,
more than
for
anything.
sure.
So you got a person who's in there like,
everything in time.
yeah, I'm getting rid of all this, and I know that I can do it. They might have a more profound healing experience than someone who comes in like, well, I don't even know if I really have an issue.
No, I'm fine.
Setting those intentions is important.
It's
what you're saying.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mental work comes first. You have to want the healing before you can get healed.
Or else we wouldn't really understand that what we're receiving is healing.
Mm.
Yeah, we would
We
just
can have
reverse
an
it.
idea of,
Yeah, we would get healed and then unheal ourselves because we thought it was a mistake or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to make sense with that logical mind of metaphysical things.
That's a lot of
Oh,
fun.
that'll never work. Work for others. Nah, it wouldn't happen to me. Okay, there you go. That's what you get.
Yeah, so it won't. Yeah.
Chris, what do you think? Any impressions on? Any thoughts? on our expose so far?
I think it's wonderful. I get to live this every day with her, and she's brought me a long way. We've kind of done a lot of this together, so it's definitely changed my life.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got a good partnership going on.
Oh, I told him he's like my I was like, oh, they might let you come in. I could tell him that you're like my grounding stone, just in a flesh.
Good one. Grounding
Because he
stone.
kind of is. It's like,
Very cool.
You mentioned,
I
you know,
didn't
where
even think about that, but I was really glad
Yeah.
when I saw you. I was like, oh yeah.
yeah, you said nowhere to go, nowhere to be.
Nothing to do.
Nothing to do. It's so funny. So I typed in our charts into the gene codes because they have a compatibility. And I'm like, let's see what they say.
Yeah.
Let's look at it.
Yeah.
And it pops up and it says nowhere to go, nothing to do. And it says when you
Yeah.
have a match like this, that's it.
Yeah.
That's just what. There's nowhere to go, nowhere else to be.
Except right here.
Except
in
right
this
here.
Moment.
And so, just really thinking about our relationship.
Expectations.
Yeah.
None of that.
Yeah. And he's, he keeps me out of the clouds because I tend to go out in the periphery. I'm very up in the upper chakras a lot. And he kind of brings me back to earth. So.
She helps me to keep me from you know, taking things and pushing them into little boxes that you like to do. Just lock the lid and never deal with it again, you know. And that's the kind of stuff that.
Oh, Chris, you're looking
brings
at
you
this.
down.
Oh, you're gonna look at this.
Yeah. 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 It's
I give you 2 minutes. Get ready.
And it's not me, like, you know, and that's one of the things about this path. It isn't me. You know, I'm just a conduit. I'm a channel, and I have been given the gift to be able to pass information from the ethers above to souls in the way that's in their highest need.
A midwife.
Huh? A midwife?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Middleman.
Middleman? Yeah.
Middle person.
Yeah, it's like literally in my star chart, and I never knew that until it already started happening, and then I was like, okay, let's investigate, and then it's like, oh yeah, this is.
I've always done this. I just didn't realize.
I've always done it.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was doing
Manager.
it. I've been a manager of people most of my life, spiritually and logistically.
Switchboard operator.
Very good at it. I'm really good at multitasking, but yeah, the people piece is always, people have always come to me for clarity and advice, and I have a lot of really close, intimate friends that, you know, I just thought that was just how life was. I didn't think that it was.
Some people are
unique
like
to
this, some
me.
people are like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like this,
And
and
it was
that's
no
just what I
biggie.
do. Yeah.
And then when I learned what my energy was versus all of the world's energy that I'd been absorbing most of my life, I was like, oh, well, this is nice. And then I was able to commune
Let's
with
step
spirit.
out of the world a little bit,
Yeah.
because you're coming from a corporate managing background.
Yeah, yeah. I had 10 years with a great company, and I worked managing large teams.
How many mystic source people are actually in these positions that don't know really
they're
their
mystic?
yeah?
I would say probably a lot.
I would say probably a lot.
Because, you know, to work in a customer
I
service
mean, that are
field,
kind people, not
Yeah.
the authoritarian, hammer.
Well, and the kind people often get eaten up in this field
Oh my
quickly.
gosh.
You know what I mean? They are like, I can't do it, and they may not know why, but they flee. I was more of a self-torture gal, so I like to beat.
So
dead
you could hang in
horses.
there, yeah.
Yeah, I have to. I got to do it, man. I got something to prove. So,
Mhm.
I hung in until I couldn't.
Yeah.
But
That's a good long decade. That's a.
oh, well, that was
That's a
just
good
the
show.
second half of it. You know, the
Right.
first half was 15 years of also customer service, so and leadership, and just a
An
different
angel.
field.
So at the DMV down here that I go to,
Yeah.
near me, not the DMV, the license plate place.
Yeah.
Those 3 ladies in there are like, they're magical, because they're hooked in, but they're not part of the system. They're like, what do you need?
I'm going
And
there.
they move people so fast through there.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's the craziest thing. And they like get the people, and it's like they're not taking their power position as a power position. They're like angels. They're like work behind the scene for the person that's coming in for their good.
And you know, I
That's
think
wild.
it made me different. I have to say, when I was in leadership, I was very much, I felt like it was important for my teams to know that I would never ask them to do something I wouldn't do myself. And I had great teams, but my most important philosophy as a manager was to treat them as equals, because they're adult people. I just have info that they don't have. You know what I mean? And I think that held my teams together for long periods of time. I built strong teams because of that. Because I didn't lord over them. I treated them as I would want to be treated.
Not a military militant.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm more whimsical. I probably drove some of those more, rigid personalities a little crazy with my whimsicalness, but they did love me,
That
and I
doesn't
love
make any
them,
sense.
so.
You can't do this. What are you doing?
What is she doing now?
I don't know. The last seems to work out though.
It always works out. Always.
Always.
It always worked out.
What's that, Luke?
I just said not following the rules.
No, I never follow rules
Yeah.
unless they make sense. I'm
And
good.
they can.
And when they make
Totally.
sense, I'm all for it. But if it's useless and bureaucratic, I have a really hard time with it. Yeah. And then I want to know why we have to do something that's useless, and I want somebody of authority to tell me why and convince me that we need to do this useless thing.
You're that thorn in the lion's side.
I'm an
or paw.
investigator. My human design is investigator,
Mhm.
and that is so true of me. I want to know the source of everything.
Curiosity.
Oh yeah, I'm insanely curious about everything.
Sorry, Chris. I know. I'm teasing. I'm playing.
Yes, I like.
Sure that.
And you know, it's so weird too because it works out in my spiritual work. Because like a lot of what I do is find the source of things. Like people will have feelings, and I'm like, okay, let's find the source, and it just matches up. And I never really connected it until I was doing it. And I'm like,
Right. So
oh.
you're involved.
yeah, look
Yeah.
at me finding the source and the energy too.
Mhm. So there's like this thing that happens to me at people I've talked to is like this post-festival blues. Because we're not engaged anymore, and we feel, well, we're already coming into a festival with the anticipation, expectation, excitement of like, this is going to be different and good for me.
Or it's that lack of sleep and proper eating that follows with the festival.
Yeah, that can enhance the senses as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's post-festival blues. It's like I'm not engaged anymore.
Mhm.
But it's in the engagement, it's in the experience of feeling alive
Mhm.
that is that gives us a real sense that we're supposed to be here, that this is a good life, that I like this, and we get in ordinary reality, and it can be kind of heavy. So that's why I like Samantha. There's different satellite places, groups, yoga, Alchemy Healness Center, our place that is coming up midway.
There's 3 Roots at Cameron. 3 Roots.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I haven't spoken with her yet.
Well, you guys are gonna meet, and it's gonna be great. She's gonna.
I've heard about her last year, and I've just been kind of.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement out at 3 Roots. So it's going to become a kind of a co-op homeschool nature school by next fall. So, and we also hold retreats. She has a labyrinth out there. Lots of good things. I'm not going to spoil it because she's going to come and tell you all about it, I'm sure.
Thank you.
But
Spoiler alert.
Yes, and there's a lot to come there. So, in anything that her and I do, I'll probably put on my website as well because we collaborate with each other and we have a lot of fun things unfolding. And like I said, I don't want to give a sneak peek yet because it's a little too soon, but more to come. And the labyrinth is amazing, so if anybody's out there and they just need to find some peace, you can contact 3 Roots, make a time to go out, just walk the labyrinth, visit the animals. Good times.
She's got a little animal farm, a petting farm.
Yeah, but there's some pigs and goats and chickens and ducks, and there's the wild animals that live there too. Lots of turkeys, and it's a magical place, 3 Roots.
It's about an hour south of Raleigh.
Yeah, it takes I'm in Apex, and it takes about 45 minutes from there. So yeah.
Yeah, she's close to me. We're close. We're 20 minutes away.
Oh, you're gonna love it. I'm excited.
The gusher is just ready to burst the surface.
I know, right? Don't you feel that way?
I like to feel like that all the time.
I think it's a good way to be.
And this is one place I can feel like that, 'cause now we're engaged again.
Yeah.
We're talking about and feeling our purpose and for being on this planet together.
I know. I am so excited about the future. And the way that I was even connected with you was so insane. Because then after you and I connect, I find out that there was 10 different ways we could have connected. And it wasn't the way that we did connect. And it was just so interesting to
Through
me.
different friends or situations.
Yeah. And it's funny because I didn't know you, and now I'm going to see you all week. And I'm just really excited about getting to know your work more and hanging out with you and all these adventures.
Well, that is the coolest thing about the medicine job, because we played this earlier. It's, the medicine drum is just, okay, so it's just that. That's all. Well, it's kind of like the singing bowls, just
Mhm.
playing the singing bowls. And that rhythm is what quiets our mind, because now the mind, the talking monologue, monkey mind, has something to attach to, something to engage. And then our higher self, or can, like that small still voice, can now speak, because this rattling survival mechanism is quieted. And that, so it's really easy to drop into the zone, into meditation, into the quiet place, when the monkey mind is somewhere else doing something else. It's really quick to divine, to move into source energy, to move into spirit world, and learn and find out that we do have allies, that we do have counselors, that we do have divine source wisdom right within us. I mean, but we have to get that part quiet, and it's so effective. Oh my God!
I suffer
It's
from
just
monkey
a
mind.
rhythm. It's just straight up rhythm. But that's what our music's about. That's what our habits about. That's what our thoughts are about. It's all about building a habit. But this brings us, it can bring us into relationship with those parts of us that don't want to be seen or that we repress. But because our source wisdom is engaged, we don't have this original trauma involved, but we do get to review without the energy, without the emotion under the medicine drum. So I always encourage everybody to get a drum, and I tell them now to bring the drums home and play for your friends. Invite your friends over. Take your friends. That's how I started. Had a little course, and had a little course, and a drum happened. To say, it was a friend's house, and I said, "Wow, great drums! I'll sell it to you." And I said, "Wow, I could beat a drum," and I invited some friends over. That was 12 years ago. It's so easy. It's like the easiest healing arts practice to move into, because you're just having some friends over and keeping a rhythm.
Sort of
Great.
reminds me of Jackie's managerial experience, because I imagine with the healing as well, a lot of that is putting the power and trust in someone else. It's not the fully strangling them and directing them where they need to go, but it's giving them the tools to then heal themselves. You're just facilitating a space and creating an opportunity. Yeah.
And encouraging their belief in themselves,
Mm-hmm.
Encouraging. Yeah, so we go through these things. Who am I? What am I doing? I am an encourager. That's fundamentally. Some people are not, they're the opposite, right? They're like, let me beat you down so you see if you've got the courage to rise up, and that will build you. That's not me. I'm an encourager. I feel really good about that.
So water or fire.
Water instead of fire?
Heal with water or fire. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, grow the plants or burn things down.
Well, let me not fool you, because I'm also
Let me not fool you.
I cannot take credit that isn't mine, because I'm also a truth teller. So those are the closest to me know this,
Truth teller.
and they probably have.
Soothsayer.
They probably have they get the real truth, the people closest, immediate family. I don't hold back, so there is a part of that that's hard. Because,
see you.
Yeah, there's truth hurts sometimes, and that's something that I'm growing with, easier ways to deliver truth. I've grown over the years.
Who's your truth teller?
I'm pretty hard on myself, but I do rely on people to tell me the truth. It's hard. A lot of people don't tell me the truth. I don't get the truth a lot. They'll tell me the truth. But I think it takes, people just don't offer truth often. And I do have a few truth tellers in my life that I can go to and be like, tell me the truth, and they do.
You're being too something, or not enough, or
Yeah, it's usually two. The truth when I need to hear it, it's like, there's
turn down the
two.
power knob.
Yeah, there were some too. But I do have to say, the older I get and the more work I do, the more settled I am, in those departments. Things that used to set me off to 10, I'm like, psh, easy breezy. Sunday morning, baby.
I call that maturity, although a lot of people hate that word.
Hey, I own it.
It's
Like,
awareness.
I earned that. I didn't just wasn't just born like this.
Blessings, blessings,
Yeah.
grace. That's how I like to operate. Always given. Always given. What, I made this body?
I didn't choose this.
I made the soul, the spirit, this, like, no. That helps me stay in gratitude when I didn't do this.
Yeah.
It helps me to give without expecting return, because so much I've received.
My oldest son brought to my attention that he said, "Mom, did you know that your brain is physically incapable of experiencing anxiety when it's in a state of gratitude?" And I said, "No." And he said, "It's literally the same center in your brain. So if you're having anxiety and you just move into gratitude and start thank you for these trees or this walk to work or this coffee, your anxiety will shift because your brain can't live in both places at the same time."
It's the same circuit, the same center,
Uh-huh.
but just
The shadow side.
Shadow-
Anxiety is
the
the shadow
shadow
side. Gratitude is the exalted side, the divine side.
can't we just hold
That's
some
good.
electrical devices and make that shit for us?
Hey, then we won't be doing fun. We
I
just,
know.
There are pills for that these days.
trying to figure all this out.
Yeah. The
Much better to do it yourself.
It would lose
Yeah.
purpose.
Christians would say, well, God doesn't want robots. Because it was too easy.
I know.
Yeah.
Heard that quite a few times. I
Everything's
was a
great.
Jesus freak there for a while.
Hey, I'm a
A
Jesus.
very annoying one, because I was the questioner. I was the inquisitor.
Oh, everybody I know in my life is a spiritual inquisitor. I hear stories being kicked out of Sunday school from so many people.
We don't ask that question here. Little boy,
Yeah,
little
yeah,
girl.
yeah. Something that shifted my perspective on Jesus or Yeshua was reading Dolores Cannon's Jesus the Essene.
She's great.
Oh, yeah.
She's so matter of fact.
I love her. Yeah. And it was just a great perspective, and it really integrated a lot for me spiritually because I don't participate in religious dogma, but I do participate in all forms of spirituality, and so I'm
Esoteric
open.
dogma.
Esoteric dogma. I like that. But I just feel like our souls know, and when it resonates with us, that's when we know.
Right,
we're
so
true.
that's the key, right?
Yeah.
That's the quest. That's the treasure hunt, is how to be aware of the resonance, when something resonates with our being, and is that good for me or not good for me, or is that
I think the answer to that lies in, are you living in alignment? So, human design is a great way to point you towards understanding what living in alignment means. But there was this book I read, it was by Martha Beck, and it talks about living in alignment with yourself and
higher self
with
or lower self?
just your whole self.
The whole, okay.
Yeah, because I don't know that, lower self is the word, I would refer to it more as ego self, right? Your
Right.
spiritual self, your
And,
ego self. And it just talks about that. It's a fantastic book. One of those, another book that changed my perspective on a lot of things. But, when we live in alignment with ourselves and we're aware of our own energy. So this is the work that I like to do because oftentimes we have cords to people, our family, and sometimes we're picking up emotions that aren't ours. It's theirs. It's what my mom thinks, not what I think. And I think once we clear our field,
Right. All these voices and people
yeah,
dominating our personal life. Right. And that's a
Yes.
part of shadow work.
yeah, and getting all that out, right? And then you hear your own voice, right? And so I think it starts with energetic hygiene. That's literally how it starts. Because once you start clearing everybody else out, then you can be in alignment with yourself because you know what yourself is because nobody else is in
You
there.
should do this. You should do that.
Right.
You ought to do this. You're gonna do this.
You wad up the roadmap,
Mm-hmm. Our personal.
you throw it out, and you just self.
No more shoulds.
No, a should is a could.
Shoulding all over myself again.
Yeah. Coulding's way better.
Shoulding is a step forward.
Hey.
Step
Yeah.
forward.
I remember it was my sister's college graduation I went to, and the speaker there, that was the first time I had heard the shitting on people. It was like, I don't know.
what that means. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it was really like, yeah, I don't know. Felt very out of place at a graduation, but it was a very, very powerful message.
Implications.
Yeah.
What is she implying? Did you graduate, Louis?
I did graduate. I don't think there was a speaker, or no, there was a speaker of mine, but he was preaching about Christianity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind that beeping in the background.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Just a reminder, we're here on the earth and things are going on.
Life
We're
happens.
here. I am here, and here I stay. For a little while, anyway. Pull your microphone out towards you a little bit. I know it might. That one.
Scoot in a bit. Does that help?
I like seeing you way out there, though, stretching your legs and being.
I know, I'm just constantly moving, right?
Really sticks us into a box.
Yeah.
We don't like boxes.
No, I don't do well in boxes. In fact, I crawl out of my skin. But it took me a while to know that about myself.
Yeah.
So there for a while, I'd beat myself up.
Right.
Like, why can't I do this activity?
Right.
Like, what is wrong? You know, why can't I work in a cubicle? Why can't I do the same thing over and over every single day? And it's like,
Something wrong with me.
yeah, no, it's not that there's something wrong with me. It just isn't for me, right?
I mean, we think that.
Yeah.
Hey, what,
but
you're
we're
calling-
doing-
Going through that.
That's the shadow
Why
side.
can't I?
I'm beating myself up. I
Yeah.
just can't fit into this
There's
box.
the law of attraction. We'll just get more of that.
Yeah, and then you get more and more crap. You can't open your car door. You run out of gas. You get a flat tire. Your coffee spills on you.
All
throw
in
your
one
cell
day.
phone in a puddle. I could do that in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, like, and anybody who knows me knows that's true.
That law of attraction again.
Yeah, I didn't know how powerful I was, and I was just attracted tornadoes.
Right. You know, I've been with a lot of people with the medicine drum, and that's what people learn, and that's because I'm an encourager. I'm there to point these things out, to say, oh, you're actually kind of powerful person. You have a strong energetic call in your life, because these journeys are very powerful for these people, and it's almost like magically, it's almost like doing shadow work without doing the shadow work.
Yeah.
Because the rhythm and the vibration kind of, I don't know, vibrates or shocks a lot of the trauma out, so there's not so much to do, because it's more of a revelatory, can be a very many revelations, which is like, so imagine a pyramid upside down on a point, and the bottom point might be fear, kind of generally, but if we knock out that fear of that experience and that trauma we've experienced, everything on top, guilt, shame, embarrassment, anxiety, revenge, all that will just fall. And it appears to me that's kind of what the drum can do in not all the time, but in some cases. You just knock out a lot of these traumas
Yeah, I think the
at their very base.
yeah, one of the biggest challenges with shadow work is that you when you like release part of your shadow, it kind of like you get like the rush of the negative emotions and everything. And I feel like it's if the drum lets you like kind of raise your vibration temporarily, you kind of like raise above the flood of emotions.
Okay, say that again. That was really fascinating.
Say exactly. I think one of the hard parts about shadow work is that when you release whatever it is, the emotions kind of like rush over you.
Mhm.
Saying a little differently. But
Mhm.
I think when you can raise your vibration with the drum, or with like a meditation technique, you you kind of like escape the rush of emotions, and like those can kind of like be released, and then you return. But like the emotions are still lingering, but they're not like a huge flood that's gonna overwhelm
Yeah,
you.
that rush of emotion can be overwhelming, is what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And this allows it to happen with ease, right? And
Mhm.
so you don't feel that, I think is what you're saying, like it kind of dampens what's happening. You
Or like
know?
absorbs it for you. Maybe.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
drum is like a sponge for the fear and everything.
Because when we do experience a shift sometimes, we'll go, uh-oh, I'm feeling something shift. Maybe I don't have control or whatever that might be. But it potentially a really good revelation or experience, but that rush of emotion will come in and maybe knock it back down. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I feel like you and I are doing something so similar and just doing different modalities. You
Yeah,
know?
it's a different tool, basically.
Yeah, it's
Same
just
thing.
the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And I'm like imagining like with my clients being able to go in and identify what it is that their blocks are and doing some work on it and then sending them to you with that intention of physically releasing the thing we discovered in my sessions
Yeah, it's
could be
cool.
very
It is.
beneficial to someone if they know what they're going in to get rid of, right? Like I'm
Mhm.
coming to see you to get over this fear or
Mhm.
this block that I have around whatever. And then you can physically, like with the drum, heal. And I just love that.
The drum vibration and rhythm is very embodied. We are in our body. Not that we can't move out of our body, because people do. It's just that we're just be very aware that we're having this somatic experience. And that's what that's body. It's a somatic experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how you said that though, the drum vibration rhythm, or bowls, or rattles,
Mhm.
or sonic drivers really of any sort,
Yeah.
can help loosen or quiet that rush of anxiety of revelation that might knock the revelation back and would not help us to move forward into that realization or that spiritual experience, or however we say that. And that's really cool. And the drum is so easy to do. Well, bowls as well, any of these sort of things.
I'm better on the drum than the bowls. I'm not. I need more practice with bowls. It's clunky.
Clunky.
It's clunky with the bowls for me.
Clunky like my shadow aspects.
Hey, I am the biggest admitter of my flaws. I'm like a big ball of mess sometimes, you know?
A lot going on.
Yeah, always. And it's like
We're
no shame in the
jugglers.
game. There's no shame in my game.
No shame in my game.
Is it a ridding of the shadows, or more of gaining a tolerance to the shadows?
Neither. I'm going to go ahead and say
Cool.
we're
Well,
not
the shadow-
tolerating them. We are
Accepting.
accepting them,
Okay.
loving them,
Integrating.
thanking them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because those shadows served a purpose for you. You know, I did some work with a
It's a
shaman.
shamanic way.
We have a
We
mutual
integrate.
shamanic friend, and I did some work with her on something.
What up, Moonhawk?
And she helped me with something, but the point of it is thanking that fear that you developed at that time. Because the reason you had a fear or trauma as a child is because you didn't have the words or understanding that you do as an adult, right? You couldn't comprehend things. We don't even have a full frontal lobe until we're in our 20s. So if you have something happen to you at 4 years old, and you don't have the words to describe or be able to feel it, you just store it away. And then all of a sudden, you're 25,
Sponge's storage
and
machine.
you're like, wait, what is this stored emotion? And then when you pull it out and look at it, you're like, oh, you weren't really in trouble. And you can see the situation in a different way. But at that time, in your 4-year-old self,
And there's a lot of these experiences
yes, tons.
in our youth.
Yes, and that 4-year-old scared self was afraid at the time because she didn't have the words for what she was feeling. Well, now I'm an adult and I have the words, so I can look at that pain, and guess what? Psh, now it's gone. So it's not necessarily tolerating anything, it's accepting it and loving it and being like, I know why you were afraid, because you needed to be. Well, guess what? We don't need to be anymore. Thank you, fear, for serving me. You kept me safe.
So what do we do when we're a parent and the child comes to us with something? We hold them.
Yeah.
We hug them. We love them. Same thing with our own internal dialogue and issues and stuff.
Something that helped me with that, because I was always my own biggest critic. I still am. Like, that'll be a constant battle. But something that helped me was, what would I tell if I imagined myself as someone else?
That's a good one.
And my friend came to me and told me what I'm feeling. What would I say to her? And then I say it to me, you know?
Right.
So,
Aw,
yeah.
so sweet.
I know. Sometimes I make myself cry. No, I'm kidding.
Good.
I do.
You know, water. Water's very cleansing.
She's not kidding. No, I let things flow. That's for sure. And sometimes, and the more
I
healed
feel a
am-
gusher coming on.
Oh man, the more I heal, the more I just let it come. I'm like, oh, I feel like crying. Why do I feel like crying? Because that flower is so pretty. Ah! And then I just move on. Or something bad happens, or I watch a commercial with a sad dog. You know, you just let it out, and keep moving. Keep
I'm
saying-
not laughing, I'm crying. I'm not crying, I'm laughing.
I do it at the same time
Same time.
sometimes.
WCOM FMLP, that's where we are. Carborough Chapel Hill. Legends from the Painted Cave. We're here with Jackie, energetic healer and crisis manager, shadow work worker.
Crisis manager. How did you know that? I didn't even tell you. You knew.
Just kind of, the drum told me.
I believe that.
Louie? Hey Louie,
Thank you.
good to have you. Ian
Thank you.
It's good to be here.
and Chris. Hi Chris. Legends from the Painted Cave. We'll be, in about 10 minutes, we'll have a short sound bath. That was perfect on the bowl. It was a very light tap. And yeah, that was sweet. Because, right, we're in a trance-ish state and sudden noises. Which can be good too, though.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the sudden noise, either like the louder the noise is, the further it would drop you, or the further it would rise you. You know, like it could shock you into like a really high vibration if you're in the right place. That's what happened last night. We were doing the drumming and Ian hit the bowl really loud, and I was like, I was in a journey and just like it launched me.
Launched you, how so?
I mean, it felt like it just like it became a part of the journey instead of like pulling me out. You know.
Oh, can you talk about that a little bit? What,
Sure.
what the journey was about?
What was I'm trying to remember. I feel like I was thinking, like I wasn't like having a visual journey. I was like having like a thought train, and I feel like it like I was thinking about something, and then the bowl happened, and it just like completely stopped my thoughts, and like it felt like it was like a part of the sentence I was thinking. It was like the answer to a question, or like
An assurance to yourself?
or it was like
An
it was like
answer.
I said, it was like my brain was speaking, and then my brain made the bowl sound, something like that. It felt very cool. It was good.
An answer to the question of your questioning or your inquiring.
Yeah.
And the bowl hit and you're like, oh,
That's what it was.
it stopped. the reason train and said, "Oh, here's the answer right here."
Yeah, something
It
like
was
that.
here the whole time.
Right.
The assurance, yeah.
Very cool.
So I identify with what you're saying because, so for example, we have Reiki Lunch Bunch at Alchemy, and it's every Thursday, and it's a chance for healers to come in and share their healing energies with the community. Well, sometimes we're lucky enough for Sam, the owner, she'll play the sound bowls during Reiki Lunch Bunch, and sometimes we don't have them. But when we do, and as a healer, it like puts me in that state so much faster. When the bowls and sometimes the drum are playing, like I can just get into that really connected state very quickly. So I value it as well. Like it just really,
Sets the mood.
yeah, it enhances the experience. The drums. The
I listen
bowls.
to drum tracks sometimes,
Yeah, I do too.
and it's always better live,
of course.
but still, they're helpful
Yeah, we do it sometimes at night.
on YouTube or whatever.
Yeah, if I can't go to sleep, I'll do, like you said, the beat.
Just telling me that they put together a leaf. Like in South America, they use palm fronds together.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's rather as well.
Whatever we
Cool
can
sound.
find.
Like wind in the trees.
Yeah, I like that. I pride myself in being
It's
really
very
resourceful.
soothing.
So that makes me happy.
Resourceful, yeah. Yeah, I mean that's how we humans, the fragile human, have survived on this planet. It's ingenuity, making it up as we go and grabbing this and that. And, ooh, that sounds good. Like that. Or works well.
Yeah.
Imagination, visualization. This is mainstream stuff.
I know.
In sports. Imagine yourself going up to the plate in baseball, standing there, looking around, watching, swinging the bat. Imagine yourself swinging the bat and hitting the ball home run. Visualization. I mean, this is common practice.
It's
now,
manifestation, right?
Yeah. And so this is no,
Secret.
yeah, it's no secret or hoodoo or witchcraft. This is
Right.
science, man.
I know.
We have a superpower we call imagination, visualization.
Mhm.
That's how we manifest. You know, feeling and visualization. It's the two things that manifestation. And this is ancient stuff. I mean, this goes back forever.
I know.
Yeah.
It's nothing new.
Yeah.
There's nothing
So
new under
that's
the
why I
sun.
call this part of our abilities, our really true superpower, is tapping in, and we do that through meditation practices,
Mhm.
shadow work, sound baths, mantras, just sitting quiet, letting the thoughts just go by and not attaching. So many ways. Crafts, arts and crafts, the zone, right? All that sort of-
Painting, music.
Mhm. I mean, we're trance creatures, really. I mean, every night. So dreams, they happen to us. We go to sleep, we dream, they happen. We're not making dreams happen when we're sleeping. I mean, there's a crossover of the subconscious and the day, and our unordinary, our unconscious, and all that information. There's lots of crossover. Their dreams are prophetic. It's forever. They can be. So,
You could make the argument that the higher self is causing dreams. So,
I think a lot of it's the
Yeah.
flushing of the mind at night. The mind
yeah, well,
is
that's
flushing
definitely,
itself.
I agree with. There's a flushing of so much
And-
information we gather.
Yeah, in the flushing, it's creating a smoothie of the experience, and you're witnessing that blend.
pretty tasty smoothie sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes not. But we need it.
Sometimes there's rocks in there.
I often ask people after, because we talk in between the drum journey sessions, if
Mm.
people want to. It's not required.
Yeah.
Uh, but sometimes, well, more than sometimes, mostly women seem to be more inclined towards spirit and intuition. So have you ever had this sort of experience before? Just when I was younger. Well, it sounds kind of prophetic. Just have you had prophetic sort of dreams of something? You'll think something or have a dream or vision, and that will happen. Prophetic.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, actually, they're not really big things, but yeah, kind of. And occasionally, someone will say, "Yeah, I've really moved away from spirituality and meditation altogether because I've had these dreams, and then stuff happened, and someone got hurt."
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm re-exploring because I'm being nagged by these visions, and we happen to be. And this one girl especially, she says, "I had a dream, and my little brother, he ran out on the road, he got hit, and it happened." And so I completely shut the whole thing down. She was telling me this after a journey. She was coming back, and I said, "So okay, so that was prophetic, but honey, we're not God.
Right.
We don't make things happen.
That's
You
right.
did not make that happen." And you can just feel the weight
Relief.
come off of people, and if you're a visual person, you can see colors and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt so good to me too,
Mhm.
and so that's the payment. That's my payment.
We experience healing when we facilitate healing, I believe.
Right, and so that's engaging. That's like we go to
Yeah.
festivals or with people, and we're involved in this movement. The healer's healed, the student, the teacher is not even that at all.
Right.
It's all one.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get out our little wands, wave them around, and watch the pixie dust do the
Do
work.
its thing, yeah, absolutely.
Encourage. Courage. Oh, Ian. You were there, Louis, last night when the young lady walked up, was going to join us. We were right in between sessions. That was an unusual experience.
She felt her feelings and trusted them.
Yeah.
See,
That was the healing she needed.
so how did you hear about us? Right.
Yeah.
And said, "Well, I saw a flyer somewhere in town here in Carborough. We're at the park up the street. And I was tuning a drum, and she said, "Oh, hi, are you going to join?" She said, "Yeah, I think I will. I saw a flyer." I said, "Okay." And I brought a drum over to her, and I said, "This is kind of what we're doing." She was standing, and I played the drum, and it was really, right away, it was really strong. I play close so you feel the vibration. And that's what happened, I think. That vibration wasn't ready for that. And she said, "Well, I think I'll just
Go.
not get drummed over.
Or drum
And
for
I'll just
herself.
sit over here." I'm like, "Okay, that's great." So I said, "Okay, everybody here, she just wants to hear the drum." I said, "Actually, I think I'll go." And who can say, who can interpret how? I can't. Just something happened, she felt the drum, but she had the courage.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that was a courageous act for her to even be there in the first place. And, wow, and that made me feel so good that someone had the courage to, say, "Oh, I'm really nervous about this." We all go through this. Nervous about the situation. I don't want to go, but I really feel I need to go. And no, I'm too scared. I'm going to go and this back, but they go.
Yeah,
And
they
it's
follow
happened to
the-
me lots of times. Courage. I felt so much courage.
Yeah.
And I said, thank you so much for feeling your feelings and honoring your experience.
And-
I wish she was out of there. She got spooked.
And-
I don't know.
Well, perhaps
But it was really great.
Perhaps all the healing she needed was realizing she had the power to say no and to leave when she didn't feel comfortable.
Totally, dude.
Yeah,
Huge.
that may have been she may have gotten it all right there in those
Mhm.
few seconds. You know, she took her power back.
One of the things
Totally.
that I love
Cool
about,
experience.
like, you know, I admire all of that too. It just like makes you everything. It reminds you everything's so magical, and you know, going through an awakening and being confused, right? Like you're starting to come, and that could be where this person was, where she's just like, I don't know why I need to be here. I don't know why I feel like I need to be here, right? She's just like following that first step, and it's a lonely place too. You know, when you start awakening, and it's meant to be, I think. It's
Or
supposed
be
to
something
be.
else, yeah.
Yeah, but like I feel really passionate about being like a landing place for people going through that.
Safe landing.
Yeah,
space.
a safe space to like bounce off of. Like, what is happening to me? Am I crazy? Why is this? Et cetera, et cetera. And you know, I feel like part of my purpose is to help people awaken with clarity, right, and help them do it with a little bit more ease and grace, because it's clunky, it hurts, it's sad.
Word of the day.
But it's also beautiful and magical, and it's just a roller coaster, you know, and having a friend along the way helps.
More the better.
Hmm.
Yeah, the magic, the mystery, this great mystery. Of course, Dolores Cannon says, this is the toughest planet to be on. We really admire all of you souls that decided to go to Earth. The most difficult experience. This is duality and confusion. And so if we're, you know, we're learning and growing, we're in the most difficult place, doing all right. Well, so we'll move into a sound bath here for a few minutes. Legends from the Painted Cave. So let's take some long breaths. Any distractions out here in your environment or from the mind, come on back to the sound of the drum beat or your breath continually. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, no one to be. Just here resting, receiving, allowing. Float downstream. turning now. Gently, gently, gently. Long breaths when you're ready. Long breaths. Welcome back to your vibrationally newly improved adventure body. We're adventuring on our garden planet we call home, planet Earth. For a little while. And more. To infinity and beyond. Well, how about a couple announcements before we close, before that slips my mind? We have Alchemy Wellness Center this Thursday, the 26th, 6 o'clock in Sanford. We have a sound bath. Love to have you there. $11. Be about an hour and a half. We'll have 2 sessions, 2 sound baths, usually with a sharing in between. Then the following Sunday, the 29th of September, is Carborough Music Festival. So, of course, there'll be music and vendors, and we will be there with the Drum Journey tent. I'm thinking around 10 a.m. till probably 8 p.m. Drop in any time, by donation, so it won't cost you a thing. Except your precious time, well spent. What else do we got going on? Well, Shikori Hills Grassroots Festival of Healing, Music, Dance, and Healing Arts. That's where we fit in. It's a 4-day music festival. There's a children's activity, kids activity center, big grass area, so that's free workshops and entertainment for the kids. There's I think there's a didgeridoo, how to make a didgeridoo class. There's lots of classes like that. Free yoga all day long with your ticket price. Of course, we're always by donation as well. Shamanic drum journeying, medicine drum sound bath will be going all weekend till 10 a.m. to midnight. Drop in any time. And then we'll have Leaf Festival in Black Mountain, up by Asheville, a couple weeks after that, the 17th or something. That's, again, a big 10,000 person festival. Lots of Shikori's getting about there now. Shikori Hills has been going on twice a year for 20 years, getting pretty popular. So Leaf as well is going on even longer. So we get a lot of people moving through the drum. There's a healing arts area down there at Leaf as well. Hopefully we'll get a couple more. There's Coracle, which is a regional burn at Shikori Hills in the middle of November, and we'll be there as well with the Drum Journey tent. That's not really a healing arts thing, but I went to one in Pennsylvania called Big Dub. It was an EDM.
Oh yeah.
Whew.
That was an experience.
Wow, Louis was there.
I only lasted a couple of days.
Big dub.
Big drum. Yeah, a lot of escape
Uh-huh.
from the ordinary reality of life. So there's lots of drugs,
Wild stuff.
lots
Yeah.
of escape
Things I never
mechanisms to ingest. But several people said, "So glad you're here in this safe space." I was like,
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a strong one.
You were doing some light work there.
But the drum was, that's the drum just mitigates all that mess.
I love it.
And yeah, so it's pretty cool.
I'll be at Shikori, so I can't
Oh,
wait to hang out with you.
awesome.
I'm volunteering, and so I'll be there all 4 days doing
Okay.
who knows what. I'm
Very
just
cool.
excited. I live near there, and this will be my first experience, so
Yay.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, so we'll, what else is going on? What is going on with
So
you,
for me,
Jackie?
I have a website up and running,
Okay,
and
what's
it's awakenwithclarity.com.
Okay.
And it has like the different services I offer. But one of the things that's new for me, I'm really excited about, is offering like an alternative to like bridal showers and bachelorette parties, and doing group aura healings for
Group aura healing.
yeah. So let's say you're getting married and you want to have your closest ladies with you, and we would kind of like read the energy of the marriage and make a commitment with everybody there to, uphold the marriage spiritually, energetically, and then everybody can get
Bringing in the light.
yeah, bringing
Sounds
the
like,
light
yeah.
and setting an intention and a purpose, that everybody can feed towards positivity towards.
Unity.
Yeah, as a family and as women and, or anyone that's close to you really, but then they could have like little mini aura sessions by themselves, and then I'll offer a group session. So instead of, some people aren't drinking as much and partying as much as they used to. It's kind of, this is
Right.
the other side of this. This is like,
Mhm.
let's set some beautiful intention. And, I'd like to work with, in the future, I see myself doing ancestral healing for
me
expectant
too.
mothers.
For expected mothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. You might also, as I like to do, is bring the drum out for land clearing and spirit clearing and house clearing, and residual energetic anomaly
Yes.
movement, and funerals, weddings, any gathering events. I like to bring the drum,
I love that too.
and so yeah.
I
we're-
see like you and I partnering in the future, just like
Oh, it's a done deal.
it's
it's
done.
already done.
It's committed. Here
Yeah.
we are. I feel the
Yeah,
same.
exactly.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. It's pretty. Life is getting really, really fun.
I know.
I mean, it's always been fun, but with more clarity and cleanness. What's your website again?
It's awakenwithclarity.com.
Okay.
So
Mine is changed to medicine-drum-sound-bath.com because we're incorporating bowls and rattles and
all the music.
other instruments. So it's a sound bath now. Shamanic journeying is just the drum or the rattle. So shifting that. Well, we have to go.
Well, I'm sad because I
Thank
had so
you.
much fun.
We will continue this
Yes.
adventure together.
It was a pleasure. The music in the background is pigeons, not like the word, or not like the bird, but the term.
WCOM, go ahead.
No, hit it. You're good.
WCOM FMLP, Carborough, Chapel Hill. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. We got seconds.
Yeah, no.
Chapel Hill, Legends from the Painted Cave. Thank you, Louie, for being here with us. Last moment. Ian, of course, as always, here with us. Chris and Jackie
From Embodied Soul Healing.
from Embodied Soul Healings. Give us a shout. Bye.
These signals bounce all around the earth, and with a really simple radio, with a $20 radio, I could probably stand outside and receive signals from all over the world wirelessly, without an app, with no subscriptions or anything, at the speed of light. This is real-time radio.